baseball's trade deadline period is going off. As I'm recording this, there's a 3-team trade going on that is sending Michael Kopech to the Dodgers, a bunch of other pieces going a bunch of other places. It's still getting worked out as I'm recording this, so no reaction to that one. But a couple of the bigger trades that have happened over the last few days, and the big one involves the biggest team in the sport, and that is Jazz Chisholm going to the New York Yankees. And just initial reaction is this is the type of player that the Yankees need. An athletic player who's going to cause some trouble on the bases, someone who is just another live bat in a lineup that has all of a sudden lost all of them. And so I think that he is a really interesting piece for this Yankee team and can be a real, whether he is a table setter for Soto and Judge, whether he follows Judge and sets the table for the rest of the lineup and just kind of keeps the line moving a little bit. This is a type of a bat that this team needed. The issue, there isn't really an obvious fit for him positionally right now. They're not going to put him in left with Verdugo being kind of the defensive specialist guy. You're not going to put him at second with Gleyber Torres being there right now. And so you're kind of left shoulder shrug emoji. The talk is right now that he'll play some third base. He's never done that at the big league level. And so I don't doubt that he is a talented enough human that he would be able to make that work. But it is just a little bit, with everything, with everything that this team has, where the obvious fit is. The obvious answer is there's another trade coming, and Gleyber is the one moving out, or Verdugo is, with Jason Dominguez kind of on track to be coming back soon. So there is, I think, this is the first in, I think, a line of moves for the Yankees. I'll be interested to see where he fits in positionally and how the other things move out, because they do need probably at least one or maybe two more bats, because it has really dried up outside of Soto and Judge. They probably need something else in the bullpen. That bullpen has just been kind of okay all season long. Funny enough, the starting rotation, which was the area of this team that I had the biggest concern of going into the season, has been fine and has been keeping them as above water as they've been able to stay in what has been a really dreadful month and a half now for this ball club. So they'll probably try to add one more starter, but this is a good start, but it should only just be the start for the New York Yankees. Also, I believe this one came in a little bit ago, but Randy Arozarena going to the Mariners. This adds offensive punch to a team that desperately needs it. This was one of the best pitching staffs in baseball a year ago, and unlike the one out here in Toronto, they have stayed one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. And now Arozarena brings a proven playoff bat to a team that desperately needs that, losing Teoscar Hernandez in the offseason and really not replacing him with anybody from an offense that was already not great. This is the exact type of a bat that this team has been looking for. And I'm not saying okay, well, Mariners championship contender now, but this, I don't know if this got enough play for how dangerous this can make the Mariners now in that battle for top spot in the West with Houston and just in the American League in general. There's a lot of talk about the big teams in the East and Houston, but the Seattle Mariners, if they can get another bat like that, then all of a sudden, this is a team that can be really, really dangerous in the American League. Sticking in the American League and going back out east, it is Zach Eflin going to the Baltimore Orioles. This is a good addition. He's going to pitch in about half an hour from when I'm recording this against the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 1 of their doubleheader. And it is, I think it's a smart move. His numbers are pretty pedestrian this year, but he is easily one of their top 5 pitchers and probably one of their top 3 pitchers. Might you make a case top 2? When he is on. And he hasn't been fully on this year. And trading 4 pitchers from the Rays has always been a fool's errand. But this does feel like a really smart move for the Baltimore Orioles. I would like to see them make one more big splash when it comes to this particular trade market. But to go into the postseason with Eflin as a 3 or a 4, a 2 or a 3, you feel all right about, but the 3 or 4 you would feel significantly better about. And then lastly, I'm going to go more into the Blue Jays moves probably once the deadline is done. This week is kind of all over the place for me. But the big one so far is Danny Jansen on his way to the Boston Red Sox. Jansen, I thought, did an amazing job with the pitching staff for the Blue Jays. I thought he and Pete Walker were a really big part of why Toronto had the success they did in developing pitchers like a Robbie Ray, like a Steven Matz, and so on. And now with a Kikuchi, getting the most out of Chris Bassett over the last couple of seasons. I think Danny Jansen has been a really big part of that. And so I think this is a really, really valuable ad for the Boston Red Sox. Jansen is familiar with the American League East and what it takes to win in this division. And I think he has a really underrated bat with had it with the Blue Jays because there were bigger names like Vladdy and with Bo. I think this is going to be a really sneaky good ad for the Boston Red Sox as they push toward a wild card spot in the American League. So we'll see what else happens in baseball's trade deadline, but I think we're in for a really fun finish to the season in Major League Baseball.